I could clean Shrek's swamp. I will not be doing that. I think that costs money. So let's clean the playground. Dirt Finder. I've got a frankly ridiculous situation on my hands. You see, some of the local children have been coming down with a curious and unsightly form of dermatitis, and a few fretful folks have been putting it down to the condition of the recreational facilities. It's all nonsense, of course, but if we could just humor them and give the whole thing a thorough hose down, I would be most grateful. Slide so dirty it gives you a rash. All right. We'll start we'll start simple then. We'll go 15. Yeah. Clean the bench first. All right. So what's been happening with me today? What have I done? I I texted my mom, reached out to her. There are still some final expenses for attending my father's funeral that I need to take care of, and she said that she would help me out with that, so talked to her, or at least sent her a text. I sat down and read for a little bit. Was reading Donnie Dust's book. That YouTuber guy. He seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he teaches the kind of stuff that I'm looking into more. So I figured, why not purchase his book when it came out? It's pretty recent. I believe it was the beginning of this year. Wait, was it beginning of this year? Or was it like very end of last year? I think I asked for that for like, was it my birthday? I think I did ask for it for my birthday. So that's the middle of the year. And I've been reading it, and good advice so far. Just like, you don't need the most recent portion that I was on was, you don't need a whole bunch of fancy gear to go out into the woods or out into the wilderness. Knowing the environment that you're going into is worth its its weight. You can pack lighter, you can move more freely, not have to worry so much about specific things. He seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders. I'm excited to see more. The content that he does put out is also quite good for anybody that doesn't know who Donnie Dust is. He's, I say this affectionately, but he's YouTube's resident caveman. Him and I think it's Primitive Survival. Who's the other one? Primitive Survival. Is he the one I'm talking about? That's a different one altogether. Disregard. It's Primitive. What is it? What is... I can't remember. It's his name. The guy that runs it. His name is Ryan Gills, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm stumbling all over my words today. I think he's got some good stuff to teach too. it's always interesting seeing the differences. I believe him and Donnie have done a collaboration on a couple of things. I mean, it's a small world, so you never know. At least I'm pretty sure I remember seeing a video. And when you're in the same sort of like niche of content creation for survivalism and like embracing the primitive technologies, why wouldn't you want to collaborate with other like-minded individuals? I can understand not collaborating to an extensive degree. Sorry, I fumbled over my words there momentarily. But yeah, why not collaborate with those around you? I wish to have some pretty consistent messaging for myself. Collaboration. I would like to collaborate with other streamers too. I don't like reaching out, and that's the hard part. That's the part that you gotta do if you wish to do collaborations. You gotta be able to put yourself out there, which, like, streaming is putting yourself out there, but it's different. It's a different kind of thing to be like, hey, I like your content. Do you want to make content with me? I have this minuscule channel. I have a minuscule channel. Would you like to waste some time playing video games with me? Or even just like chatting? I don't know. I like to hang out with people. I've been doing a lot less of that more recently. Simply because I don't have a car currently. I also don't really know a whole lot of people in my current area. So that makes things difficult. I'm also a huge homebody. I love to spend my time doing me. So that would also explain why I'm not really doing too much outside of the home. But to loop back, yeah, I think I would be open for collaboration. I'm just saying this to myself mostly, because every time that somebody has offered, I've been like, you don't know them. I don't know you. Get away from me. Is that King of the Hill quote? I don't know you. Get away from my purse? Is that it? I can't remember. I haven't watched a whole lot of King of the Hill either. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do that as a background project while I'm editing one of these days. Could be interesting. Give me something more to chat about. Talk about Mike Judge's magnum opus. I don't know if King of the Hill. Pardon me. I'm misspeaking more. I don't know if King of the Hill is Mike Judge's magnum opus, to be perfectly honest. I think a lot of people would say that Idiocracy is. I think Idiocracy is also one of those that I need to actually watch all of. I think I caught it on TV one day and I was like, wow, this is so stupid. This would surely never happen. That's the extent to which I will talk about current events. We're here to hang out and chill. So let's do that. Continue to hose down this dino. perhaps watch King of the Hill one day. A lot of traditional media does not appeal to me for some reason. I think mostly it was advertisements and like breaking up the action in that way. Is that just a me thing? Probably. Probably. I even at a young age, I would try and watch TV as a way to stay entertained, and I always needed to do something with my hands. That's why I ended up playing video games so much. And yet, here we are. At a certain point, I would get bored of just playing my video game, and I would add YouTube to that, too. Call that dopamine maxing. Still do that on occasion with Civilization, primarily. Maybe I'll do some Civ streaming again. I don't know. Really just talking about my experiences. What I know. The life that I have lived. Man, this sure is a dirty dino. Dredging off the dirt off of this. Sorry, I'm trying to think of more D words that work for that. Maybe I should spend some time, like, reading a thesaurus. Broaden my, my horizons. My verbal horizons. I'm kind of invested into communication, so might as well be better at it. Probably want to work on my book more, too. That's been a little bit of a delayed project, to be perfectly honest. Quite a delayed project, indeed. But hey, I'm kind of figuring out, like, exactly how I want to word it. Because my basic premise is there. If I could get like a 50 pages. It's but a pamphlet. But sometimes you need a pamphlet to be like, hey, remember what makes you passionate about life? What is your, what brings you that joie de vivre? The zest for life. I'll tell you what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about spending time with the people that matter to me. I would like to be doing a lot of things slightly differently with my life. Mostly I just want to spend time with people. The people that I care about. The people that matter to me. What kind of people do you have in your life that matter to you? I know that my spouse is probably my favorite person. I say probably, as if that's a doubt. They are my favorite person. I just want to spend more time with them. I want to procure employment so that we can pursue our goals a little faster. That's something I'm passionate about. Finishing those goals. Well, you're never really finished with your goals. It's just, have you done the goals that you really, really want to do? Do you really, really want to write a book? Write a book. Step one is getting started. Actually performing actions in which you can say that you've begun a project. Slowly whittle away at those projects, much like whittling away the dirt on this dino. What kind of goals do you seek to achieve in your lifetime? Because for me, I'll tell you one thing for certain, I do not care about having a lot of money. I really just care about having enough money to be secure, have a place to live, perhaps, have a place to call my own, even if it's small. At one point, I believe I lived in a 750 square foot apartment. That's the smallest living space that I've had. At least for just me, including the the living room and shared spaces. I meant to say shared spaces initially, but stumbling over my words just a bit more. But yeah, I'm not really too keen on cash. Just want to acquire enough to live a comfortable life. Not really have to worry. That, and I would love to grow my own food more. I feel like that will be incredibly important. Just generally, but like downstairs I have a leak in a glass. It is currently regrowing after trying to, well, not trying to, after chopping it up and cooking it with some cabbage. We did successfully do that. That was not a try moment. We successfully chopped up a leek along with a whole head of cabbage. And you know what I learned from that? It was delicious. I learned that cabbage and leek, good combo. Quality stuff. Probably could have incorporated some kind of like bean or nut in there too. We wanted to get some cheaper proteins. I mention it a lot on the stream, but I try to eat a little bit less meat, mostly for the wallet. The wallet and environmental reasons. I'm not too against consuming animal products. I'm a big fan of honey for sure. But I've noticed that my digestion is a lot better eating as much roughage as I do. Probably need to see about being better, even better about that too. These last couple of days I have not been very good about taking care of myself with eating, and man, I just slept awful last night. I could not stay asleep. I recently did some reading about how humans generally are supposed to have like a 4-hour sleep, get up, walk around, or get up for a moment, do some reading, tend the fire, do some midnight oil burning, and then just go back to sleep for another 4 hours. I think I might try and implement that a little bit more into my sleep schedule. Especially because man, sitting in bed for 8 hours, it was... My joints did not like what I was doing. I don't know what it was, but I'm a relatively young individual, and I certainly have my fair share of pain issues. I can certainly tell when cold front is coming. If I'm reflecting upon it now, can I feel it in the joints? Let's do a quick wiggle out. Nothing too crazy atmospheric. Nothing too crazy for me. Feels fine. Saw tomorrow we were gonna have a winter storm, which is a bit of a bummer, but c'est la vie. Such is life. I should probably learn French more too. Speaking of goals. I was thinking about that earlier today. I was going out to the garage to pick something up and I was like, it'd be nice to learn another language. And I've already done enough. Well, not enough. I've done a little bit of that vocal work with French. I mean, back in high school, but... What's 10 years on the mind? 10 years of not repeating any of that knowledge. What's 10 years of negligence of that knowledge? Surely nothing bad. Surely nothing too crazy. I can remember some basics, but that's about it. I'll be real. Champignon. That's mushroom. And about the extent to which I would like to embarrass myself at this moment. Back in high school, I did have a lot of issues actually remembering language. But I think part of it was that I just did not see the way that you had to learn. You have to study. You have to keep up on it. You have to use that pretty consistently if you wish to gain more knowledge. Have to wet your mind, as we said earlier. When you have a wet mind, sorry, thinking about how that sentence exactly works. When you have your mind wet, sharpened, then you can do anything. You can truly do anything that you set your mind to. I firmly believe in that. Anybody can do anything. Some people it will just take a lot more work than others. That natural aptitude does play a part in, like, determining whether or not you're interested in a skill, for example. But if you put your mind to it, I could learn software development. Hell, RPG Maker, which RPG Maker was it? Let me double check here. RPG Maker 15 Ace. That's the one. That was, I think it might still be free on Steam currently. I'm not 100%. Oh, I should also move my camera. Whoops. There we go. What was I saying? Oh, I forgot to get a link to my spouse, too. Whoops. One moment. Okay. Back to rinsing the dino. But yeah, anybody can learn anything. I firmly believe in that. It doesn't really take a whole lot. Well, I disagree with my own point there. It does take a lot. Some people, it certainly takes a lot more. But you can do anything that you set your mind to. If you have the grit and the tenacity to say, I'm gonna get this done, you can do it. I believe in you. We'll go with this now. Hose it down. I firmly believe that given enough time, resources, and drive, anybody can do anything. I will repeat that a couple more times, I'm sure. But humans have done a lot. We've gotten this far. We've learned all sorts of things. We're pattern recognizers. It is what we are adapted to do. And so when we notice patterns, we incorporate that. And the ease at which studying can be done with the internet, you don't need to be a professional. You don't need to be like a top tier expert at just about anything. But you can learn the basics for sure. The basics certainly will be within your grasp. It may take a lot of separate learning and like scaffolding knowledge. But why not? Why not try and do that? Why not try and scaffold your knowledge into something more? Learn a skill. It's good to have hobbies. It's better than just spending all of your time watching other people do things that you want to do. Then again, we can also learn a lot from watching other people. We are natural observers as well. Well, I can't remember the psychologist, but I believe he said that we have one of the better pattern recognition. Wait, no. Specifically, if I'm remembering correctly, it was that we're better at following patterns or like specific rituals in order to achieve results, even if those patterns are not what you need. Not necessarily what you need, but like aren't necessary for the final product. It was like I can't remember I need to actually check that for my own sanity. It's not popping up immediately, so let's we'll resume what we're doing. I should when I'm streaming, I should definitely make a list of things to Google later and follow up upon. I keep doing that. I keep saying silly things in silly ways. So we'll just keep spraying things down. I'll prep that for next time. Prep the questions that we do not have immediate results for next time. That way I don't have to spend all of my time on stream getting ready for that. Just keep hosing everything down too. Who is that psychologist? The only name that I can think of is Piaget, and that, I believe, is not correct. Although he had several studies. That's a fun game. What's the name again? The name of this one is Power Wash Simulator. The one I was playing before is The Bazaar, which is a closed beta auto battler. If you would like to play it, you do have to pay money for it. But hey, I'm probably late, super late on... Okay, thanks. Yeah. Happy to help out. I was just gonna say, I'm probably super late on reading that message, but... I'm just trying to keep an eye on chat. While keeping an eye out for this dirt. What's our next step here? Where do we go from here? We've done all of the outside. Now where do we go on the interior? I think we'll just go... We'll section it off. Simplify it a little bit. Give ourselves corners to follow. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. What do I want to have for lunch tomorrow? Because I think I do need to do more cooking. From both my spouse and myself. What should I cook? I think probably rice and beans again. I'm definitely gonna... So, my latest fumble in the kitchen was forgetting that I have brown rice mixed in with my white rice now, and I forgot how much more time the brown rice takes. So the white rice turns a little bit into mush by the time the brown rice is done. But it kind of is... I kind of really dig it, actually. Like, the textural difference is quality. And if you can get enough flavor into the broth and the rice itself before it disintegrates, it becomes very flavorful. Big fan of that. Came almost like a rice in rice pudding. A savory rice in rice pudding. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Would recommend. However, remember, brown rice, again, takes longer than white rice. Don't know why I forgot that. It's kind of an important thing, remembering how long your rice takes to cook. Do I need the narrow one for this? I don't think I do. Okay, yeah, that'll simplify things more. Go long extension. Perfect. Now this is power washing. You don't really need anything too crazy in this. We don't need insane soaps yet. But yeah, I've been enjoying a lot of what I've been doing lately. Cooking is always good. Love to be in the kitchen. Need to give myself more reasons to do so. I've been neglecting that quite a bit. And it does feel like I'm missing out. I find a lot of joy in that. In the creation process of the kitchen. Were I not flat-footed, I would certainly be more of a... I would certainly be more interested in becoming a chef. But long hours and flat feet, I need some insane shoes to keep me going, I'll tell you what. That and training to become a chef, that's a lot of stuff. It's it's hard work. It's a hard job. I will not dispute that from anybody. If somebody tells me that not I, but like somebody says to me, I have a hard job, my immediate response is, okay, what has you saying that? What are your reasons for saying that job is so difficult? I would much rather hear the stories of others than be like, no, you didn't. Your job isn't hard. Every job's hard in its own way. Whether it's physical labor, emotional labor, mental labor. I don't know why I blanked on mental there. Yeah, everything has its own level of difficulty, for sure. So why should we... We'll go with 15 again. Get the tough stains. Why discount anybody else's story? Right out the gate. Here's some details. Form your conclusions. Have informed conclusions, not just formed conclusions. Be willing to look outside of your comfort zone, typically. Find out the differences of opinion, and find out where yours lies. You may benefit from that. Why not enjoy the benefits of having an open mind? Maybe not too open. Be aware of where your opinions and sources are coming from. There are a lot of people out there that just want to get your money. Trust me, I know. I was raised in a cult. No longer in a cult, but that took a lot of mental effort. A lot of active mental effort. Very strange to reflect upon that. It's been a minute. It has certainly been a minute since I have. Oh, it's the yellow and the red. Okay, how much area do we have with the red? Okay, most of it. Most of the outside. Well, I guess we'll draw the line here for now. Yeah, that works for me. Piece by piece, we build this puzzle together. Or, I guess in this case, clean this puzzle together. Damn, this is a dirty puzzle. But yeah, check your sources. See where your knowledge is coming from. Find out more about your opinions and what you would like. What aligns with your morality and your decision making? I don't know. We'll find out. Preferably not being a bigot. That's really all I want. I ask for others to put in the mental effort to understand. Harper Shaw, did you hear that the mayor's cat Ulysses is missing? The whole town's on lookout for him. In time for the festival. We won't have spring till he's put the hat on. Do you want me to look for a cat? To be honest, if I had to wear a hat, I'd go missing. Sorry, wear that hat. I'd go missing. What kind of hat? Whatever. Bunny ears or something, I'm sure. Who doesn't love bunny ears? How cute, how quaint. I'm pretty sure this game is made by British people? Based off of the names? Only off of the names, really? I very much could be incorrect about that. That could be another question to have answered for next time. Who knows? Maybe I'll edit in the answers too. Because this is certainly... I'll end up re-editing this stuff. I've been doing it already. We'll go back to 9 Souls too. I just wanted my my first stream on YouTube to be pretty basic. Bizarre bower washing. Bower washing. I brought up that meme with somebody recently, and they said to me, wow, I haven't heard that one since like 2016. I was like, sorry, that's really when I began cultivating more of a personality, and it unfortunately has stuck. It's an old one, but who cares? It's an old time. Then again, there's a lot of old stuff. How old is Star Wars now? 50? 50-something? That's pretty old. Indiana Jones is also quite old. They're still making stuff for both of those. Steven Spielberg. What a director. What a mansion. What a game that one is, too. Also something that is going to be on the list. I haven't fully decided on that yet. I haven't fully decided on whether or not I want to try and do speedruns for... Well, I don't know when that will be, because I think it will be happening. And I know I talked about this last night, too, on my Twitch. But, I mean... It's a good game. There's a lot of moving parts in it. A lot of parts to be learned for the speedrunning tech. Is it C for the... Yeah, there we go. Slightly less camera movement this way. I don't know, I'm trying to figure out what is a good stream. I'll just keep cleaning up the red too. Keep brushing it along. Keep cleaning it up a bit. What was I talking about? I'm gonna loop back to the kitchen talk. What do I want to make? I think more oats, more basic meals, big in fiber, bigger meals consisting of more plant matter would probably be good for me. The amount of fiber would probably be the hard part to start, but hey, you know. You'll get used to it, or you won't. It's a reminder to drink lots of water when your fiber is high. Sorry, one moment. My spouse is getting back to me. Okay. The power washing will continue. What is... What is the worst high fiber diet that you could have? I feel like if you ate... I think it would mostly be like raw plant matter would be the most difficult for you to digest. We have a hard time... Say we. We as in humans. Humans tend to have a harder time digesting raw plant matter. Or at least less chewed plant matter too. We don't have the enzymes to break down all of that stuff. Like cows? Don't cows have like 3 stomachs? Is it 2 or is it 3? Hang on, that's an easy one to Google. How many stomachs do cows have? Cows only have 1 stomach. It has 4 compartments. Alright. I've learned something. I was wrong. And you know what? 1 stomach, 4 separate chambers. I probably shouldn't have closed that tab. Whoops. Ah well, nevertheless. Large red floor. There we go. Love to see that. Do we want to... Let's do the full perimeter now. Let's do 15 degrees again. Yeah, that'll be enough for this. We'll get all of the full exterior around the red too. We already did most of it. Might as well get some of the detail work. I apologize for highlighting every 3 seconds. It is a habit that I have to break, but I also need. I was always somebody that played games with like the special vision on all the time. The highlight vision. Simply because it's just so much easier for me. A lot less mental overhead in searching for individual objects in a room. I don't know, maybe I should rethink that. Trying to become more detail-oriented again. rather than have everything done for me. Loop back around on that you can do anything convo. Because why not? If you believe that you can do anything, all that you need to do is follow up on that belief. Hope and belief are very powerful things indeed. I'm missing parts. Go back over. Okay. Less than I thought. We're fine. It's mostly the angle, or lack thereof. Crawling on the floor, power washing. Ensuring that this place gets nice and tidy. We're at 28% cleaned, too. We do have a lot to clean with the... We'll just say everything. Lots of different sections to focus on. $28%. I don't know if we're gonna have enough time to complete this one before the end of stream today. End of stream will be in about 45 minutes. Simply because that's when my spouse gets home. And I want to spend time with them, as I discussed earlier. Love me, spouse. Love me. Power washing. Simple as. I don't know, I've been trying to love a lot more generally. It makes me feel like a lot better of a person when I do. Feel a lot less, I'll call it overhead, mental overhead. It means a lot less consistent nagging in the brain. The floor edge is clean. Yippee! Sorry, 1 second. Responding to the spouse one last, and we'll get back to it. Continuing. Well, we have the yellow, the blue, the inner blue. We can spread our nozzle again, too. This stuff is pretty basic. We're hosing down the floor. Pretty simple stuff. What was I talking about? What do I want to talk about now? Oh yeah, cow stomachs. Yeah, ungulates and such are better suited for digestion of lots of plant matter. We simply are not capable of that kind of heavy labor within our biome, our gut biome, typically. I mean, we can become more adept for it. That's why people take all of those different supplements or, like, probiotics, specifically probiotics. Lots of yogurts, a lot of cultured things. Cultured foods. I bet you could really train your gut biome for some crazy stuff. Supposedly, there's a second brain in your gut, according to all of those headlines that I never click on. I bet there really is. Like, the gut is its own unique system within the body. gotta make sure that you're able to keep it regulated, keep it containing more. We as humans always need to be eating, or so we think. In fact, I've lost a lot of weight recently, simply because I haven't been eating. It's actually been a bit of an issue for me. I need to make sure that I'm eating more. I feel like Anton Ego from Ratatouille. I'm gonna spoil this a little bit for those that haven't seen it. Anton Ego, the food critic from Ratatouille, says, "I don't eat food if I don't love it," and I relate to that very heavily. It's a challenge even. If I don't love eating the food, then I just don't eat all of it typically, which is a problem for me because I end up having no energy a lot of the time because of that. I also feel like I'm extra pasty, like Egon. Egon? Different guy. Like Ego as well. Spend a lot of time inside. Then again, the winter kind of makes it difficult to spend more time outside. Even when I'm outside in the summer, I tend to cover up. Try and protect my skin where I can. I recently went to my dermatologist. Well, the dermatologist. I guess they're mine now. And got a mole removed, and it got biopsied, and yay, it's benign. Yippee! The wound is like 90% of the way healing too. Just a little bit more to go on that, and I'll be right as rain. My anxieties about melanoma are diminished for now. Gotta stay on top of that though. If you suspect that you may have cancerous lumps in any fashion, get that stuff checked out. Or if you feel like any part of your body is like, I don't know if this is it. I know going to the doctor can be expensive, so like I'm not gonna say you definitely need to do that, but you should. Homeopathic medicine is only so good. It's important to stay on top of your physical well-being. The mind, the body, and the spirit are one. They are interconnected. We are the combination of all three. The mind and the body may do all right, but the spirit, I see spirit as more of a morale thing. If you have zero morale, if you lose your zest for life, everything else it'll slip out of your fingertips. You gotta have that joie de vivre. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'm probably miss everythinging. Everythinging? I'm inventing words. I miss everything. Defying everything. I guess that's how I'll word that. Bit of a ridiculous way to go about it, but whatever. That's what I'm here for. To be a little ridiculous, be a little silly, provide commentary. Hold up the mirror to society and ask, do you like how this looks? How would you change this? What do you think could benefit us all? Or just you, I guess. Art is upon the individual interpreting it. And I guess live streaming is art. It's live performance, that's for sure. I can certainly see how people would not interpret live streaming as an art. Art is always subjective. People are always talking about that. We're back on this train again. I was talking about this last night, but I'll talk about it again. It's something that's been on my mind a lot. And talking about it helps me solidify the opinion on it a bit more. Video games, certainly art. People reacting to video games, I mean, it's definitely art, but it's a lesser form of art, I guess. Like, I don't want to be discounting myself or the other people that do this, of course. Just, it's being a live entertainer. And when you're a live entertainer, I feel like you're given a little bit more leeway because of that moment to moment. Whereas, for example, if somebody were to have a big old painting that they said, I spent 500 hours working on this painting, people would be like, yeah, that's art. Or at least, you know, some people would be. I would say, what kind of, I want to say art absolutionist, but I don't believe that that is the term that I'm looking for. I think, I would say I'm more of an art anarchist. Anything can be art, depending on who's viewing it. Like nature. Nature is art. Ansel Adams. Photography of nature, that's art. Even if it's just interpreting angles of different natural wonders, different natural stages of anything, really. Photography, if photography's art, anything's art. I think that's kind of my mindset on it. There is a lot of art to be had in this world. There is a lot of art to be consumed. Some art obviously has less merit than others. But really, it comes down to you, the individual consuming said art, to interpret that. The individual watching the live stream. How do you interpret this art? I don't know. Comedians? Are comedians artists? I mean, the first big name that comes to mind is Bo Burnham. I kind of grew up alongside Bo in my own way. I'm not gonna act like, oh, I know Bo so well. that would just be absurd. But I do feel a kinship with somebody like that who also looks at art and says, yeah, I'm creating this. It's that paralysis. That paralysis in live performance where you're just like, I don't want to get in front of the stage. I don't wish to be perceived currently. Which is kind of like, he stepped away from live performing and then COVID happened. So I guess, like, very convenient timing for him. But I feel like live performance, the artist experiencing the reaction in the moment as you're performing it, like theater. It is theater in its own way. It becomes its own interpretation of the interpretation of the interpretation. It's a meta level. Live performance is meta level art. Even if, as ridiculous as this sounds, even if a little bit of that interpretation of the interpretation ends up just becoming schlocky. Becoming content slop in its own way. Much like maintaining the body with food, you must, too, see what content you are consuming. Is it a healthy content diet? Are you over-consuming? I would say that dopamine gluttony is a real thing. Make sure to go touch grass. At least, you know, when you're able, if you're able. Enjoy our connection to this earth. Don't just live behind a computer screen. Very rich coming from me, the person that has said they spend most of their time behind the computer screen. I say it to myself, to the stream, and for myself, and for the stream. Just a gentle reminder. Gotta stay up on your meters. Oh yeah, I was talking about Sims yesterday too. Gotta stay up on the meters. Since we're talking about that again, yeah. I'll probably play some Sims 2 at some point. I don't know when that will be. I guess that's the end of that thought. Self-terminating thought. What is art? We answer that question pretty frequently. But I feel like reiteration is important in regards to that. Refining the definition of art, or broadening it in this case. I know for such a long time the conversation has been, are video games art? My response to that is, why wouldn't they be? Like, even Pong is art. It's interactive art. Is it intended to be like Van Gogh, Monet, a Bach? No. But it is art. It is digital art. It was created. And it was created with a purpose. That's the nice thing about video games, is it is purposeful art. At least, you know, to some extent. most art ends up being purposeful, but like purposeful interactive art is what I'm trying to go for with my basic message here. Like, you may not always see the inner workings, but you don't see the inner workings of the artist. And a lot of the time, you can just look at the code for video games. You can see what created the product. Because, I mean, art is a product. I don't like marketing it as a product to be purchased and consumed and, like, I don't know. Something about saying that it is a product puts me off. That's probably because I believe in something more than just something to entertain for or capture the attention. I like to try and put myself into the mindset of the artist nowadays. I was a lot worse about this earlier in my life. I used to be much less of an arts appreciator. Mayor Jeff Jefferson, is that 13th? Howdy, Dirt Finder. Put everything on hold. My golf buggy soiled like you wouldn't believe. Doc, gave your details to a colleague who needs a hand with her new place in the suburbs. It's the old Doused place. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I lost it. I was not fast enough. Anyways, more jobs unlocked. Yippee! More power washing to be done. In its own way, this, the power wash is like Sisyphus. Maybe I should do one of those games too. One of the many, many Sisyphus type games. I think it could be a lot of fun to do Chained Together with some friends. Or people that want to do it. I know I proposed it to my friend Daft a bit ago, and he said no. Probably because he's the kind of guy that I'll be like, what, you don't want to suffer together? And he says no, and then I say, but you're playing Final Fantasy 14. Isn't that suffering? It's not. Not if you enjoy it. Then it's just, I guess, pleasurable pain. Like putting your finger in a vice. You go, oh man, that really sucked. I look forward to when my finger isn't inside of this vice. And then you take your finger out and you're like, ah, yeah. Man, this sure is great. Sure is great not having all of that pressure on my finger. And then you willingly put your finger back in when you're like, I don't have anything else to do. Maybe. Maybe I'll put my finger back in the vice. Again. How much more of this blue do we need to do? We're going layer by layer. Inner ring by inner ring. We'll finish the blue ring and then... we have about 20 minutes left. Who knows? Let's see if we can get to 50%. If we can get to 50%, then I'll be happy. We can come back to it another time. Probably post next 9 Souls session, let's be real. Because that game, is good. My problem is the Metroidvania aspect of I don't know where I'm going. What am I doing here? Where's the area I actually need to be? I've lost it yet again. Just do a quick dirt highlight. But yeah, I don't know. I'm figuring things out. Streaming has been good. YouTube has been pretty fun. I've just kind of accepted that it's gonna be a long year. Because my inner goal for myself, I said, if I can get 100 subscribers on YouTube, then I will continue to do what I'm doing. If not, well, we'll simply pack it in. I'll probably end up doing video essays at some point. Probably not on this channel, simply because 3 videos a day makes it a little bit less appealing, but makes it being my channel. Like, if you subscribe and you're like, why would I watch 3 videos that are an hour long every day? Well, part of it's because I'm putting out 4.5 hours of content just about every day. That's the primary reason that my scheduling is the way that it is. I could probably start doing more segments, go segment by segment and upload it, but I don't really want to do that yet. If I want to maintain the live streaming schedule that I have, I will probably end up pivoting it around more. I've already pivoted it a little bit. 5.5 hours was a lot, and it was an insane amount of content to have to edit through. I would spend, well, that I want to do better editing too. Who knows, maybe I'll cut it down to like 3 hours. Maybe that's an eventual thing, but who knows? Time is a mystery. I was reading an article recently, and it talked about perceptions of future and like what the future and past are interpreted. And I saw that this article said a certain culture viewed it as not looking forward but looking backwards. Like, we are facing backwards in our perception of time. We don't know what will be coming, but we can make judgments based off of what has happened. And I thought that was interesting. I thought that was pretty beautiful, too. I've been mulling that one over a good bit since I read it. Thinking about how accurate it is for all of us. And I've certainly spent a lot of time facing backwards and reflecting upon what I have seen. I found it lacking. Large blue floor. One more piece done. Alright. I guess we'll just keep going inner ring by inner ring, too. Is 25 enough for this? You know what? It will be for now. We can give it another scrubbing if we need to. Yeah, I can certainly see how this kind of dirty, just absolutely filthy environment would give people dermatological issues. Gotta take care of your skin. It is, in fact, the largest organ on your body. There's a lot of it. There's certainly a lot of it. Sorry, I'm thinking about Silent Hill, the movie now, and the woman getting her... Sorry. The terminology I'm about to use here is very silly. Getting her titty twisted clean off. I mean, I gotta address this. Skinning something is pretty easy. Like, getting the incision, everything about that, like, it's really, if you're just trying to get the skin off, it's relatively easy. If you're trying to make it pretty, that's where the difficulty lies. Because I've certainly seen some poor skinning jobs. And I'm sure I will have plenty of poor skinning jobs myself. Simply because I wish to cultivate that skill set. And the best way to get better at something is to fail at it. Also kind of how I'm viewing my streams and YouTube videos right now. We're just kind of failing. Failing upwards. Building the building blocks. Finding the base level knowledge that we need for the future. And isn't that beautiful? Isn't it beautiful just how much we can learn? Mastery does involve a lot of effort. Living long enough, like, sorry, I jumped ahead 2 steps on this one. Living long enough to become a master at something means truly dedicating yourself to something like that. I'm thinking of, like, martial arts currently, but that's not necessarily the end of that thought. Like, becoming a master at jewelry work, that's pretty difficult. I have a cousin who is really good at their stuff. And I've seen them talk about... Oh no, I'm gonna sneeze. Alright. I caught that one. Caught that one with the mute button. Anyways, they're really good at what they do. They're about my age. And I think to myself, wow, if I dedicated myself to something like that earlier in my life, I could probably be about that same level. My issue is I don't like dedicating myself to a single task, typically. I find myself becoming a little bit bored. And that's the problem. Variety is the spice of life, and I gotta say, I like things spicy. Always good to keep things mixed up a little bit. Routine is great for maintaining habits. It's just like having one routine for your entire life will drain you. I feel like you gotta have a building block, like interchangeable routine. Have hobbies that you rotate through, and then the rest of your routine. Have your dedicated hobby time and say, is this the hobby that I wish to be doing currently? Maybe not give yourself too many choices. I know a lot of people tend to pardon my fumbling here. I'm a little dehydrated and I haven't filled up my water. But I want to see how far we can get before my end time. So we're doing that. Anyways, having interchangeable hobby time, I think that's probably the thing that you want to keep in mind. Interchangeable hobby time in your routines. I know I find a lot of comfort in my routine. My routine is pretty frequently disrupted, usually through my own forgetfulness, distractibility. For the first time today, I was like, man, I'm so bored. And then I thought of all of the different things that I needed to do, and I was like, why am I bored? It's probably because I've been spending too long scrolling. My dopamine needs to reset a little bit. Because scrolling, like, it is that short-term hit of like, oh wow, all of this new and interesting stuff. And then you start scrolling more and more and you're just like, just chasing that dragon. I'm chasing that dragon in scrolling. Not good for the mental, IMO. Turbo dork behavior. Verbally saying IMO rather than just saying, in my opinion. Then again, I am a turbo dork. I've kind of accepted that about myself. Turbo dork here. Reminding you, stop scrolling that damn phone sometimes. Find your fulfillment in your hobbies. See what dopamine you get from that stuff. I find that I enjoy eating a lot less than I used to as well. Just generally, speaking about dopamine. I think part of that is that dopamine issue of just like, yeah, it's not eating. Eating doesn't feel as good as scrolling, which is just an insane thing to actually feel. But I feel like a lot of people do feel it. It's a lot easier to scroll than it is to cook yourself a nice meal. The hit is a lot more immediate with that. You feel it. You feel the scrolling hit your brain instantly. That's why social media is something to be used with caution, I would say. If you have a young child, do not let them get addicted to social media. What am I missing here? parts of the ring for our teal. Let's get the inner part here too, since we're here. Save ourselves the trouble for the yellow later. Ah, yes, I missed this part. I see. We got to 50%. Yippee! I'll just keep going until I'm done then. My goal has been accomplished for this session. 50%. More than I anticipated. That dino. We'll do about 6 more minutes. That will be my end time today. Might as well be power washing until then. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? Don't respond. That's just... I've kind of talked myself out. 4 hours of active stream of consciousness is a little bit difficult. It's something that I'm actively working on, though, too. Yet another thing that I say to myself, this is something we're working on. My orating skills. It's why I have my streams as long as I do. That, and I hope that people actually, like, you know, stop on by. I know 8 hours of streaming is, like, a lot more commonplace now. But that's also an insane amount of content. And I think I would get bored playing video games after 8 hours every day. Even 5 hours, I struggle. There's a lot of games to play. Don't get me wrong. Almost an endless amount of games. Some of them more or less for you. I think that's part of my problem with the video gaming industry. Just to loop back on the video games as art conversation for just a bit longer. It is art. And yet, our poor artists in that field make so little and are asked to do so much. That's the problem with making an industry out of something. The art industry. Cinema is most certainly art. But why do we keep seeing so much of the same stuff? It's because money. Money controls it all. When art becomes a product, it's expected to be of a certain quality. Like, I watched Skinamarink in theaters, and the entire time I was just like, I kind of wish I was asleep, actually. I was in the dark theater, it was relatively late at night, and I was like, I'm kind of not scared of this whole shebang. I'm just kind of waiting for something to happen, and like, the blurriness is making it so that I just want to close my eyes. That is a movie that was too long, I think. I think it would have been better as a short 40-minute. I think I would also ask people, do I want to tell people to watch Skinamarink? I'll say, Skinamarink, your mileage may vary. you may or may not enjoy that movie. I know a lot of people that I interacted with were like, I love Skinamarink. The person that I saw it with was like, it was a really fun experience. And it was a good experience in the theater. But man, watching it at home, I was like, I watched it twice. I can't believe I watched Skinamarink twice, by the way. I kept telling people how much I hated it. And then the person I watched it with was like, hey, do you want to watch it over Discord with me? And I said, sure. We watched it with a couple of other people who also hadn't seen it. So that certainly added to the appeal. But, pardon me, I was watching it that second time and I thought, man, I know everything that's going to happen, and I'm just kind of sitting here twiddling my thumbs, like, going, damn, looking at my wristwatch that I don't have. Damn, this kind of sucks. This kind of sucks to watch again. But hey, I'm no movie critic. I probably should work on those writing skills though. That would be pretty neat, pretty interesting. I'm at my time, but I'm gonna finish this red circle, and then I will be calling it for the stream today. Thanks again to everybody who has stopped by, even just clicking on the live stream for 5 seconds. I appreciate it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me that you have or have not watched as long as you have. But thanks for stopping by. It's been good. I've had a good time. It's been a good night. It's been good to think about everything, to verbalize. And if you enjoyed this stream, I will be putting up Power Wash Simulator? I'll be playing more of this, and I'll end up uploading the sessions that I have done. But that's going to be it for today.